Chapter 16 Special Mediums. Special aptitudes of mediums. Synoptical table of the different varieties of mediums. Besides the varieties of medianimity already described, there is an infinite variety of shades which may be considered as personal, being determined by the particular aptitudes of the medium himself without reference to the qualities and enlightenment of the manifesting spirit. The nature of a communication is always in keeping with the nature of the spirit by whom it is made, and bears the stamp of his elevation or inferiority, of his knowledge or ignorance. But among spirits of equal advancement, from the hierarchical point of view, there is an evident tendency in each spirit to occupy himself specially with one thing rather than with another. Rapping spirits, for example, rarely go beyond physical manifestations, and among spirits who give intelligent communications, we find that some are poets, while others show themselves as musicians, draftsmen, moralists, scientific searchers, physicians, etc. We are now speaking of the great mass of ordinary spirits, for when spirits have reached a certain degree of elevation, their aptitudes are blended in the unity of perfection. But, besides the special aptitude of each spirit, there is that of the medium, who is, for the spirit, an instrument more or less responsive to his desire, more or less flexible, and in whom the spirit perceives peculiar qualities that are not always perceptible by us. To employ an illustration, a skillful musician possesses several violins, all of which appear to ordinary observers to be good instruments, but which, for the artist himself, are very different, presenting varieties of tone, etc., that lead him to choose one in preference to another. Varieties of quality that he distinguishes rather through a sort of intuition than by any definite rule. It is the same in regard to painting, drawing, music, etc. There are some who, though possessing, when left to themselves, no scientific knowledge, have a peculiar aptitude for receiving scientific communications. Others have a similar aptitude for historical studies. Others do best as interpreters of spirit moralists. In a word, whatever the medium's flexibility to the will of the spirits who communicate through him, he generally receives most easily communications of some particular character. Thus, it is with mediums among those who appear to us to be equal in point of medianimic power, a spirit will prefer one or another according to the kind of communication which he desires to make. Some mediums keep to a special circle of ideas beyond which they receive only brief, imperfect, or erroneous communications. Thus, for instance, we find persons who, as mediums, write admirable poetry, although, in their ordinary state, they may never have made a couplet in their lives. And on the contrary, we find poets who, as mediums, can write nothing but prose, much as they desire to do otherwise. And besides the question of medianimic aptitudes, there is that of the sympathies of the spirits themselves, which lead them to communicate more or less willingly with such and such a medium. So that, other things being equal, the same spirit will be much more explicit and successful with some mediums than with others, solely because they suit them better.